In this town, a sinister presence named the Grabber kidnapped and tormented children in an underground cellar. The horrors persist until the spirits of these victims rise. This is Finney, a quiet and shy student. Today, he is participating in a baseball competition, but he was defeated by his schoolmate Bruce. Finney lives with his father and a younger sister. His father is an alcoholic who often gets drunk and abuses his children. His younger sister's name is Gwen, a cute and strong girl. Today, when both of them were going to school, they discovered that Bruce had gone missing. This was the fourth case of missing children in the town. After school, Finney was once again bullied by a group of classmates, but Robin stepped in to help. Those bullies were scared and ran away. Robin is known as the best fighter in the school, and everyone is afraid of him. Finney and Robin are close friends. Robin advised Finney to become stronger and not let the bullies harass him all the time. While Gwen was studying, the police came to talk to her because she had dreamt that Bruce was taken away by a man with several black balloons in a car. Strangely, the police also found it at the crime scene, but this information hasn't been made public yet. Therefore, they suspected that Gwen might be related to this case. It turns out that Gwen has a special psychic ability. She can see visions in her dreams. As a result, the two police officers were scolded and chased away by Gwen. On weekends, Gwen usually stays over at her friend's house. When she returned home the next day, her father beat her severely. It turned out that the police had visited her father's workplace to inquire about Gwen, which made him extremely angry. Gwen was crying, and Finney could only stand outside, shouting and pleading for them to spare his sister. Her father wanted Gwen to understand that her dreams were just nonsense and not real. That evening, the police called to inform Finney that Robin had gone missing. It turned out that on that same afternoon, Robin had been kidnapped by a person known as the Grabber. The police began to search, but it seemed hopeless. Gwen also wanted to help find her brother, so she prayed to God to show her Robin's location in her dreams. With Robin no longer around to protect him, Finney continued to be bullied by his schoolmates. Seeing this, Gwen stepped in and fought off one of the bullies. However, facing a group of boys, Gwen quickly became overwhelmed and was also attacked. The weekend came. Gwen went to her friend's house to spend the night, and Finney headed home alone. On his way home, he noticed a peculiar black car. A man stepped outside and dropped something on the ground. Seeing this, Finney rushed to help. However, this man quickly overpowered Finney, sprayed him with a tranquilizer, and kidnapped Finney. This man was wearing a strange mask, and after uttering some threatening words, he left Finney locked inside the room. Finney immediately tried to find a way to escape, but aside from a toilet, a carpet, and a black phone, there was nothing else. Finney wanted to use the phone, but its cord had been cut, leaving him feeling extremely desperate. Gwen, upon hearing the news of her brother's missing, was devastated and prayed to God for help. The police and Finney's father searched everywhere, but their efforts were in vain. Finney tried every possible way to escape, but couldn't succeed. Suddenly, the phone in the room began to ring. Finney rushed to answer it, but there was no response on the other end. Behind him, the Grabber entered the room. Finney pleaded with him to let him go and promised not to report him to the police. The Grabber refused and left. Finney cried out for help in despair, but no one could hear him. The room had only one window, but it was too high for Finney to reach. While not knowing how to escape, the telephone rang again. However, it was still an eerie silence on the other end. Exhausted, Finney passed out. When he woke up, the Grabber was sitting in front of him, looking haunting. After staring at the boy for a while, the Grabber left once again. Not long after, the phone continued to ring. Finney picked up the phone, but was terrified when he heard someone calling his name. The phone kept ringing incessantly. Finney mustered the courage to answer it. To his surprise, it was Bruce on the other end who had been his baseball rival. Bruce informed Finney that he had also been kidnapped by the Grabber and imprisoned here. Bruce told Finney that there was a loose brick in this room, and he should dig deep underneath to find an escape route. Bruce had tried it before, but ran out of time. After delivering this message, Bruce hung up. At that moment, Gwen was having a strange dream where she saw Bruce being taken away by the Grabber, followed by her brother banging on a door for help. Upon waking up, she immediately went to search for a house with a door similar to the one in her dream. Following Bruce's directions, Finney also found the loose brick. He started digging a hole, dumping the soil into the toilet, flushing it away, and covering the hole with the carpet when resting. Finney returned to wait by the phone for Bruce's call, but unexpectedly, the grabber entered the room again. He brought him a plate of food and a soda bottle, but forgot to lock the door when he left. At this moment, the phone rang, but it wasn't Bruce on the line this time. The new caller warned Finney not to open the door and go upstairs because it was a trap. The boy on the phone was Billy, the newspaper boy who had gone missing several months ago. Billy informed Finney that the grabber was waiting upstairs with a belt in hand. If Finney went up, he would be beaten till passed out. Everyone captured by him had fallen for this trick. After sharing this information, Billy hung up. Finney slowly proceeded upstairs to check, and just as Billy had said, the grabber was sitting there with the belt. Finney quickly returned to his room. After finishing his meal, the phone rang again, and it was Billy. He told Finney that he had hidden a piece of string in the wall crevice. At this point, the soda bottle on the floor unexpectedly rotated and pointed toward the window. Billy wanted Finney to use the string to climb out of the window to escape. While Gwen was asleep, she had a dream of Billy being kidnapped by the grabber. She also saw an image of the kidnapper standing in front of her house with a bunch of eerie black balloons. Meanwhile, Finney had found the string but was struggling to hook it onto the window. Finney came up with a clever idea. He rolled up the carpet, threaded the string through it, and successfully attached the string to the window. Finney tried to climb up, but when he was almost there, the window frame fell, causing him to fall to the ground. Back at home, Gwen gathered the courage to talk to her father about her dreams. Hearing that, her father revealed that her mother used to have similar dreams that led her to commit suicide. That was why he was always angered when Gwen mentioned her dream. Gwen tried to convince her father that her dreams were the only way to find Finney. Her father finally agreed and took her to search for a house with a door resembling the one in her dreams. At the same time, the police were investigating a house. Inside, they found a man named Max visiting his younger brother. Max was also investigating the missing children. Max shared his findings with the police and offered to assist with the investigation. Finding nothing suspicious, the police left the premises. Finney continued his efforts to find an escape, and the phone rang again. This time, it was another boy named Griffin. Griffin informed Finney that the reason the grabber hadn't killed him yet was that he hadn't committed any wrongdoing. The grabber was waiting for Finney to turn into a misbehaving child before killing him. Time was running out, but now was Finney's chance to escape because the grabber had fallen asleep. Griffin also revealed that the grabber had used the lock from his bicycle to secure the door and had left the code on the wall. Following Griffin's instructions, Finney found a series of numbers to unlock the door. However, Griffin had forgotten the order of the numbers, so Finney needed to try all possible combinations to unlock it. Finney memorized all the numbers and then quietly made his way upstairs. Indeed, the grabber was sound asleep. Finney slowly approached the door. After trying all the possible combinations, he finally unlocked it. However, the noise made the dog bark woke up the grabber, and he began chasing Finney. Finney shouted for help as he ran, but no one heard him. In the end, the grabber chased Finney down, and in his anger, he punched Finney, making him lose consciousness. As Finney regained consciousness, the phone rang again, and this time it was another boy named Vance. Vance had once been a notorious thug in the town, and coincidentally, Gwen was having a dream about him as well. In her dream, she followed him to a house but suddenly woke up. Vance informed Finney that behind the toilet was a storage room. By digging through the wall about 2 inches, he would find a freezer and could crawl through it to escape. Finney thanked Vance for his help, but Vance explained that he was doing this as a way to get revenge on the grabber for having killed him. Finney decided to follow Vance's instructions. After digging through the wall, he successfully entered the freezer, but to his surprise, the freezer was locked from the outside, leaving him unable to escape. Finney, feeling incredibly desperate, the phone once again rang, and this time it was his close friend, Robin. He encouraged Finney to be strong, stand up, and resist the grabber, not to be timid like before. Robin advised Finney to pack the handset with dirt to make it heavier. He then taught Finney a fighting technique using the handset as a weapon. After some training, Finney began to master this technique. In the end, Robin urged Finney to use everything he had learned from everyone to escape from there. This was also the final call. Finney began to put his plan into action. He filled the handset with dirt and set up traps, waiting for the right moment to escape. Meanwhile, Gwen was in the rain finding the house from her dream. Unexpectedly, the spirits of the 5 missing boys blocked her path, causing her to fall. The spirits disappeared, but Gwen had already seen the house from her dream. She quickly ran back home to report her discovery to the police. At the same time, Max had been investigating the fact that his younger brother had imprisoned the missing children in the basement of his house. He went down to check and found Finney. However, before he could rescue Finney, the grabber attacked him from behind with an axe, killing him instantly. The grabber blamed Finney for forcing him to kill his brother, and as revenge, he promised to give Finney a painful death. He even brought a dog to guard the door, preventing Finney from escaping. At this moment, the police also arrived at the scene, rushing into the house. However, there was no one inside. Grabber was preparing to kill Finney, but he quickly dodged the attack and ran towards the toilet. Finney immediately pulled out a cord, causing Grabber to stumble and fall into the pit. Below was the iron frame of a window, which resulted in Grabber breaking his leg. Then, using the handset, Finney punched him repeatedly. Finally, Finney used the telephone cord to strangle and kill him. The police at this moment also discovered the basement, but underneath it was only a place where the bodies of the missing victims were buried. Finney then used a piece of meat to lure the dog away to another location and managed to run outside. When Gwen saw her brother step out, she was overjoyed, and the two of them embraced each other in happiness. In the end, the case was finally closed. The kidnapper owned 2 houses opposite each other, one for burying bodies and the other for imprisoning victims.
This is the end of the movie. If you enjoy it, please like and subscribe to support my channel. Thank you for watching.